Insulin is the only lock between your body and your fat stores. While it's elevated, the door is sealed. Energy flows in, nothing flows out. Your body is in storage mode, not because you ate badly, but because the signal to unlock never came. Here's what most people have never been told. You can eat clean all morning and still trigger that lock depending on what you drink before your first bite. Because the drink you reach for before breakfast either sets your insulin baseline flat or pushes it high. That one decision shapes what your body does for the next 2 to 3 hours. If you've been doing everything right and your waistline hasn't moved, this is the biology behind why, not willpower, not genetics. A specific biochemical lock and 3 specific drinks that hold it open before breakfast even starts. 3 mechanisms. I'll give you the problem and the fix for each one together, right now, not saved for the end. Here's the cycle. Blood sugar spikes. Insulin rises to manage it. While insulin is circulating, the enzyme responsible for unlocking your fat cells gets suppressed. The door shuts. That's the whole problem. These 3 drinks are a single intervention in that chain. They flatten the spike before it happens, which keeps insulin low, which keeps the fat-burning door open. And here's the question that ties everything together. Why does your body keep choosing storage even when you're trying to change it? The answer is at the end of this. For now, drink 1. Picture the moment before breakfast. Your stomach is empty. There's nothing standing between what you're about to eat and your bloodstream. Whatever arrives, the sugar, the carbohydrates, the fruit hits at full concentration all at once. That's the spike. That immediate flood is what triggers the insulin surge. And here's what the research is actually measuring. It's not about what you ate. It's about the rate of arrival. Same breakfast, same sugar content. But this time, Psyllium Husk was in your stomach first, fully gelled, waiting. The gel doesn't remove anything. Nothing gets flushed away. The sugar still arrives. It just arrives slowly instead of all at once. The spike flattens. Insulin stays low. The fat-burning door stays open. In a 2024 meta-analysis published in BMC Endocrine Disorders, 19 randomized controlled trials, 962 participants. Psyllium significantly reduced fasting blood sugar by 6.89 milligrams per deciliter, and HOMA-IR, the standard marker for insulin resistance, by 1.17 compared to placebo. Not a pharmaceutical, a fiber. That was the result. How to make it? 1 teaspoon, roughly 5 grams, stirred into 12 ounces of warm water. Drink it immediately after mixing. Don't let it sit. It gels fast. And if you wait, you're drinking something thick enough to be unpleasant and potentially dangerous. Drink more water after. And the timing is everything. 10 to 15 minutes before your first meal. Not with your food. The gel has to be formed, and waiting before breakfast arrives, the funnel has to be lined before the Coke hits it. If you're new to fiber, 1 teaspoon for the first week. Some early bloating is normal and it passes. If you have inflammatory gut conditions like IBD or Crohn's, check with your doctor first. The flood doesn't come. The lock stays open. Psyllium handles what's coming in. But what about the visceral fat that's already there, the fat that's been accumulating around your organs for years? That fat doesn't announce itself. You can't feel it. Your waist measurement only tells you part of the story. And most fat loss conversations aim at total body weight, not this specific deposit, not the fat wrapped around your liver and intestines that drives insulin resistance from the inside. That's a different target. And matcha has the only evidence I've found that directly goes there. Matcha is green tea, but instead of steeping the leaves and discarding them, you drink the entire leaf, ground to powder. The active compound for visceral fat is a catechin called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. At the dose a standard cup of steeped tea delivers, the effect is minimal. Matcha changes that. You're drinking the whole leaf. In a 12-week double-blind randomized trial published in Obesity in 2007, 240 subjects with visceral fat-type obesity, participants drinking a high catechin beverage at 183 milligrams per day showed significantly greater reductions in visceral fat area, waist circumference, and body fat compared to the control group. The control group drank the same beverage at only 96 milligrams of catechins per day. No significant change. Same drink. The catechin dose was the only variable. Organ fat responded. The second mechanism matters just as much. Matcha contains L-theanine alongside the caffeine, which smooths the stimulation curve. No jitter spike, no 10 a.m. cortisol crash that triggers the exact cravings that drive visceral fat accumulation. Coffee can do that to some people. Matcha doesn't. How to make it. Let your kettle cool 90 seconds after boiling. You want around 80 degrees Celsius boiling water denatures the EGCG you're drinking it for. Whisk a half teaspoon into a small amount of water first to form a paste. Then top up with the cooled water. No sugar. Sugar is the spike this entire video is designed to prevent. Psyllium protected the gate. Matcha targets what's been building behind it. This is the drink most people already have every morning, and they've never been told the real reason it works or the real reason it fails. Everyone credits caffeine. For visceral fat specifically, caffeine is not the mechanism that matters. The compound is chlorogenic acid, and black coffee is one of the richest dietary sources on Earth. Chlorogenic acid does two things simultaneously. First, it slows glucose absorption at the gut wall, the same spike-flattening job that psyllium and matcha both support, now approached from a third angle. Second, it activates AMPK. Think of AMPK as the body's low-fuel warning light. When it switches on, every cell gets the same message: stop storing, start burning. A 2019 randomized double-blind trial published in Nutrients 150 overweight adults, 12 weeks compared a coffee high in chlorogenic acids against a low chlorogenic control. The chlorogenic acid group reduced visceral fat area by 9.0 square centimeters. The control group, 1.0 square centimeter. Same coffee, different chlorogenic acid concentration. Visceral fat moved for one group and held still for the other. The rules are non-negotiable, black only. The moment you add sugar or flavored syrup, you've created the spike that the chlorogenic acid was working against. A small splash of milk is fine, but if you want the full benefit, black, and don't make coffee the first thing you reach for the moment you wake up. Cortisol peaks naturally in the first 30 to 60 minutes of the day. Stack caffeine on top of that, and you're amplifying a system already running high, which eventually drives visceral fat through the cortisol pathway. Wait 30 to 60 minutes after waking, then drink it. If you're caffeine sensitive, decaf carries chlorogenic acid too. The caffeine isn't the mechanism here, the compound is. 3 drinks, 3 mechanisms. The same insulin lock, approached from 3 directions at once. Before the steps, everything here is based on peer-reviewed research and is for educational purposes only, not medical advice. If you're managing a blood sugar condition, run this by your physician first. Psyllium in particular has meaningful effects on glucose. That's the answer to the question we opened with. Your body keeps choosing storage because the insulin lock never got the signal to stand down. Nothing intervened before the first meal. These 3 drinks are that signal, one for each phase of the morning chain. Here's the sequence. Move 1. The moment you wake up, drink plain water. Just rehydrate. Nothing metabolically active, yet cortisol is already elevated. Let it come down on its own. Move 2. 10 to 15 minutes before your first meal, the psyllium gel. 1 teaspoon, warm water, drink immediately, chase with more water. The gel has to be formed and waiting before food arrives. If you eat first, you've missed the window for that meal. Move 3. With your first meal or 30 to 60 minutes after waking, if that's when you eat matcha or black coffee, you don't need both. The EGCG and the chlorogenic acid work through overlapping downstream pathways. Pick the one your body responds to better. Rotate if you prefer variety. You are not drinking all 3 simultaneously. You are sequencing them, each one doing its specific job at the right moment. By weeks 3 to 4, the afternoon energy crashes that come from high insulin variability typically start to reduce. That's the first signal. By weeks 6 to 8, waist measurements begin to respond. That mug is the same object it was when this video started. What's changed is what role it plays now. Not just a habit, not just caffeine. One of 3 compounds working on the same lock in sequence, every morning, from the same kitchen you already have. Every morning, this stack runs. Insulin variability narrows, and narrowing insulin variability is one of the clearest early markers in the biological aging literature, the direction that matters. Subscribe. The next video covers the foods that silently undo everything this stack builds, even when you think you're eating well.